Okay, everybody, welcome. So this video is going to be covering how to get your patient attached to the Arctic Sun when doing therapeutic hypothermia. So the things that you're going to need are going to be your Arctic Sun machine. This is currently kept in the big storage room over on the B side. You're going to need your set of pads. So in the boxes of pads over outside of A10, there are two packages of pads. So one box has two packages. You only need one. In that one silver set of package, you're going to have your 4 pads. So make sure to only grab one set, and then you will give the slip that is on top of, that is attached to the set, to Sheila. And it's going to say, what patient was used on, which physician ordered the Arctic Sun, and that way that person can be charged for it. But don't open 2 packages unless unless you think you need it, unless you think you're going to need another set. You can always go back. Don't open them until you're going to use them. So when you attach the patient, when you put the pads on the patient, what's nice is they have all the stickers as showing where you're going to put them. And then the other thing you have is the date that these pads were put on. So you can write that there. And this, where these stickers are, this is always at the front of the patient. So you're going to turn the patient to their side. You're going to put this part on their back. So this should align, parallel to the spine. The spine should be kept open. There should be some space between this pad and this pad here. So this is the back of the patient here. These front sections are going to come up the front under the patient's chest. You want to make sure that this dipped portion here, that this isn't right in their axilla. You want there to be some space there and for the axilla to be exposed. As far as the pads that go on the thighs, again, you have your pictures as to where they're placed. You want to make sure that the groin is exposed here. You can also put your date and time that you applied the pads here. So at the attachment end of the pads, you're going to have a white sticker and a blue sticker, and this correlates to the connectors to the machine. So you can put this on any one of these, really. There's no particular one, but you want to make sure that the white and the blue line up appropriately, and you basically just click these in. There's 2 of them, so on one side they should be connected to one, and then on the other side they should be connected to the other. Okay, so that's pretty much it as far as putting the pads on. Once you connect to the machine, then you can come over to the machine and turn it on. So the on button is here in the back. Right here, you're going to flip the switch and the machine will turn on. You're going to hear this loud beeping noise. But the other thing that you want to attach to the machine is going to be your rectal probe or esophageal probe. That's going to be telling the machine what your patient's temperature is. The machine needs to always know what the temperature is, so that way it can adjust the temperature of the water. So while it turns on, the other thing that we want you to get is the hypothermia protocol order set. This can be found in MyMHS Central, and it includes everything you really need to know. It's going to have the inclusion, exclusion criteria, the preparation for hypothermia, the general nursing orders. It has medications that you're going to need. So it has, your insulin protocol, your IV fluids, your sedatives, your paralytics, all that stuff, and whatever standard will already be check marked. Now, these can again be put in by the physician as well, but if they don't know what's typically done, this is going to be a good resource for you. And then you can always fax this order set to pharmacy, and they can see what's going on as well. But yes, this can be found in MyMHS Central. I definitely recommend printing this out, putting it on your flow sheet, in addition to sending those orders to pharmacy. So once the machine turns on, it's going to give you your 2 options. It's done a self-test already. You can choose normothermia or hypothermia. When you click hypothermia, it's going to already have programmed what temperature we want to cool the patient to, how long we want them to be at that temperature, and it's going to have then the rewarming settings as well. What do we want them to rewarm to, and how much time do we want them to be for that to go over, essentially. As far as the period in which we cool the patient down, it's going to be only about 4 hours. And again, remember that we want to start Arctic Sun within 6 hours of attaining ROSC. If you need more details on your, criteria, inclusion, exclusion, all that stuff, then I would say reference the protocol. Basically, once you have everything connected, you're going to see your patient's temperature here. You can change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit if you feel more comfortable with Fahrenheit. And then in order to start them, you just press the big start button. So I'm not going to press that right now because it's not connected to a patient. So it's not getting like a temperature and everything like that. But I do want to point out that you can adjust the temperature, the duration of both the cooling and rewarming of this patient. So all you have to do is press adjust and then change whatever you're going to change and then press save. The other buttons that are on here besides that is, and the temperature between Celsius and Fahrenheit is going to be your empty pads. So you're going to empty your pads when you are disconnecting the pads from the machine. So this is going to happen at the end of your treatment, but it's also going to happen whenever, if by chance you need to go to like CT or something like that during your treatment. Now, I definitely recommend not doing that. If you can avoid that, I would, just because it's going to be better for the patient to have, to be cooled continuously for the duration in which the protocol says. We want to make sure that if we're going to go to CT with this patient, we can do it, after they obtain ROSC, then we can, okay, let's go to CT. When we come back, we're going to connect them to the Arctic Sun. Remember, that's within 6 hours. So that's the empty pads. You also have under empty pads the fill reservoir. That's going to be if the machine basically like is low on water. And how you fill the reservoir, you're going to press this button, and there's a nice little picture on how to do it. In the back of the machine, it has basically like a straw that sucks up the sterile water. And then whenever that's ready, then you press start. It's going to suck up the water, and then you'll press stop, and you'll be good to go. And of course, the machine will tell you if you need to fill the reservoir. Therapy selection, you can always come here and go back to, okay, I want to do normothermia now, etc. But we don't need to do that right now. And then the last button is going to be, or one of the last buttons is the help button. So this is if you run into any problems during your treatment and you don't know what to do, this is a help index that you can go to. So go to the help index, and it's going to have, frequently asked questions, therapy preparation, settings, advanced setup, all the stuff that you can go down, and they're going to have subtopics on the right hand side. Once you want to see that subtopic, then just press display. It'll pop up on your machine. You can get the information that you need, and you'll be good to go. Go ahead and press close. And then of course, if you want to stop your treatment, then you're going to press your stop. But that's pretty much it. I would definitely recommend that you go over this protocol. It really has everything you need to do, including nursing care, which is, talking about how often do you assess the skin under the pads, and, when do you need to draw labs, and why do you need to draw labs, and what meds do you need, what do you do about shivering, all this different stuff. But that is just a brief explanation on how to get the pads, set them up on your patient, turn on your machine, and get your therapy started. And that is that. If you have any questions, please reach out.